Well, hello to you, my lovely dear listener. Welcome to the Whitfield Report. I am your host, Sam Whitfield, recording here at NGC Studios. And today's episode isn't really going to be a full-blown show as much as it's going to be an announcement. Some of you who know me personally and who have talked to me, some of you already know what it is. But for the vast majority of you, I've hinted at it on social media a little bit. I've dropped hints here or there. But I'm excited to announce that in about a week or so, I will be producing a daily half-hour edition of the Whitfield Analysis, Tuesdays through Thursdays, and then Monday you get the regular show. Now, the half-hour show is going to be a premium podcast, meaning that you pay per month for the podcast, and it's going to be a subscription basically. And I've talked in the past about wanting to do this, and it's been a dream of mine for quite a number of years to do this actually. And the reason why I'm going premium, honestly folks, is to provide you guys more content and to make it worth my while to do so. I've worked incredibly hard on this podcast / radio show since I was 14 years old. I'm 22 years old now, and for the most part I've produced the podcast single-handedly, which I don't mind, but it is a lot of work. I spend all my time in addition to actually hosting the show. I also have always managed the website, updated the blog, I've booked my own guests, and it's it's rewarding, but it certainly also has its challenges. And one of those challenges that I've always faced is trying to monetize said podcast. And so, about 2 years ago, I partnered up with TapeWrite.com, a startup out of Brussels. A pretty ingenious system for podcasting and for creating premium feeds, if I do say so myself. If you've ever listened to my podcast on TapeWrite.com, then you know that the podcast show notes are annotated, and you can subscribe quite easily from your browser or your mobile device. So now that I've got the reasons for going premium out of the way, I'd like to share with you the nitty-gritty details. Obviously, some of you are wondering how much this is going to cost. And I'm very happy to say that I have decided to charge €6 a month, which equates to $6.36 a month for this podcast. I feel that that's reasonable, and for the price of that podcast, you'll get 3 additional shows in addition to the free hour-and-a-half long Sunday show that I usually like to produce that goes out on Sunday/Monday. You'll get 3 additional half-hour shows. They're shorter, but you get 3 of them over the course of the week. And I feel that this is the best way to provide you guys content and to bring you guys interviews, exclusive interviews in a manageable way. In addition to the 3 extra shows, I've begun digging up some old archive shows from the Whitfield analysis from the days when the show was on Junior Factor Nation and Blog Talk Radio, and some other kind of lost podcast episodes and segments and interviews that never got aired previously. And I'll post those sporadically and basically kind of empty the vault from time to time and see what spills out. So you'll get a whole bunch of content for just $6.36 per month if you're in the US, €6 if you're in Europe. And in terms of the guests, as always, I plan to bring on multiple viewpoints from within the conservative movement, and of course the token liberal every once in a while. I don't really exclude particular guests from the podcast once I have them on. I don't pick favorites within the conservative movement. I had both Trumpian Republicans on during the 2016 election and never Trump Republicans during the election, even when they were fighting amongst each other, and I actually was able to have a dialogue with both of them, and that's something that I believe that we're sort of lacking in politics today. You know, there's a bunch of fighting on both sides of the right and left spectrum, but there's also a whole lot of infighting within both political spectrums too. And so if we can't even stop fighting within our own political parties, then how can we expect to debate the other side of the aisle and have a meaningful and productive conversation with them? And that's been my goal with the podcast really over the last year or so, and I'm going to continue that with the premium podcast. So folks, I hope you guys subscribe to the premium podcast. Again, that is $6.36 a month. Oh, and the other nice thing, no advertising. Let me talk to you about that real fast. Folks, people have suggested that I do advertising throughout the years on the show, and I won't do it. For one, the podcasting advertising programs from Amazon and Audible pay only pennies at first, and that's even if you have a large scale audience. I think it's like 10,000 listeners per episode or so. So again, it's not really worth it for smaller independent podcasts like me. And then the other thing is, I've had offers from various independent advertisers, quote unquote, over the years. I've gotten contacts. People contacted me on Fiverr.com and Craigslist.com, all offering to pay me to advertise their product. But long story short, a lot of these products, well, they don't always seem the most legit, and I've never felt comfortable enough to do really an independent ad. So I'm not going to send you guys to an advertiser that I certainly wouldn't trust, and I'm not going to shill for a product either that I would never use myself. So I've never really done ads, and yet I am asking for your support. I'm never going to do ads on the show because I believe that they get in the way of the conversation, and like I said, a lot of them are just sketchy. So think of your $6.36 a month. Think of what that will get you. That will get you 3 bonus half-hour shows per week, including the free Sunday Monday podcast. I won't record on Fridays because that'll be my day off. But then you also get additional content, extended interviews, lost segments, documentary style podcasts. It's going to be great, ladies and gentlemen, and I can't wait for you guys to listen, and all of that will be yours for less than the price of Starbucks, which I know, come on guys, many of you spend over $6 per day on your coffee or your fast food habit, so I think $6 a month or $6.36 per month for me is a pretty darn good deal, if I do say so myself. So I'll be rolling out the premium subscription next week, and I'll have more announcements related to that as the time comes. But until then, I hope you continue enjoying the free podcasts, and thank you for supporting the show. God bless, and God save this great nation.